now. All right, so Mr. Jordan, are you in a place where you can actually open the meeting up, or would you like for me to? You're on mute if you're talking.
Give me 1 second. I'm just getting to a computer.
No problem. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to close my door. No, don't close it all the way. All
Can
right, so
anyone
while
hear
he's
me?
getting to the computer, I'll go ahead and get started. And then that way, Mr. Jordan, you can jump in whenever you are ready. So we're going to go ahead and officially call this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. And we are short a few members tonight. Had a few people tell us they wouldn't be able to make it this evening for lots of different reasons. But hopefully they can watch the recording and catch up on anything they may have missed. And we don't have anything to vote on this evening, but we just have a few things to review and discuss. So we're going to start off. We don't have to do a official roll call since we have our minutes done in a different fashion, but we will pause for a moment to take a look at our agenda and to adopt that agenda. So if there is anyone that has any additions or corrections to the agenda, you can let me know at this time. And if you don't have any, if you don't have any, then I can, I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the agenda as it's printed. All right.
So moved.
All right. So it was moved by Ms. Sunland and seconded by Mr. Crook that we accept the agenda as printed. So we will recognize our visitors, and we have one visitor with us this evening. That's Miss Nikki Harris, and Miss Harris is a kindergarten teacher from Timothy. So we're happy to have her here. She is actually a teacher leader in our building. She does a lot of really great work with not only our students but also with colleagues as well. So Miss Harris is here to share some information with us about an upcoming project that Timothy is going to be embarking on. So I'm going to turn the floor over to her for a few minutes to share about this project. So Miss Harris, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Worley, for giving me this platform to speak on. So good evening, everybody. My name is Nikki Harris, and I am a teacher at Timothy. Been there for 11 years, so I love my Roadrunners. Beep, beep. I recently just finished my educational specialist in teacher leadership, and I'm just so glad that Dr. Worthy has been a supportive mentor and giving me opportunities to use my leadership in the building. So one of my projects, can I have Sharon in the building, Dr. Worthy? Was to create an advocacy project in the school, and I was thankful that Dr. Worthy, Ms. Blankenship, and Mr. Bailey were already working on something. So this all just worked well together. We wanted to provide more opportunities for students to have leadership skills in the school. So we thought about we had a lot of talk about it, but it came up to be like an ambassador program where students have opportunities to work on leadership skills as well as 21st century skills. So I kind of want to just talk to you about it tonight and get some feedback from you guys of what do you think that will look like or how that would help the Timothy community. So in the beginning, it's how can our school best tell our story? Like, what is the strength of hearing a story about a school from a student? So we really thought getting things in the eyes of a student. So with the Student Ambassador Program, students have voice. Our students love Timothy, they have Timothy pride, and we want to give them more opportunities to do that. So with the Ambassador Program, we want students from every grade level, at least 2 from each grade level, and we will just have different workshops monthly for them to have these opportunities to build these leadership skills. The reason this also came about was not just because of great ideas, but also was supported by our 90-day action plan. When I was on the SILT team last year, there was a need for it with our big rock. One of our big rocks was talking about we were having minor discipline referrals were decreasing, but we wanted increase in student achievement. And so we think by having a program like this, with peer mentors, that can help raise student achievement and just overall culture in the school. So with the ambassadors program, like I said, we want to have the students speak for the school. So some of the policies, I'm just going to skip around because I know I want it to be a short meeting. Some of the activities that we want were like first friends. So when a student is new at Timothy, we have these students who have been practicing how to communicate with students and they can greet them. So if you have a new kindergartner, when they first come to the school, they'll be called to the office ambassador, and they'll have ambassador walk them to their classroom. That ambassador can also show them how to get to the bathroom or how to get home in the afternoon if they're a car rider or a bus rider. We also thought that would be also good with school tours. I know Dr. Worry does amazing school tours, but having a student ambassador there too can also help parents feel at ease and they can answer questions. And once again, everything is based on us having workshops where we're mentoring kids and providing ways to practice these skills so that they're able to go into the school and even the community and do these activities. Another big thing is we hope we can get back to this, but we love programs at Timothy. Like we have our grandparent breakfast, we have parent coffees with Dr. Worthy. So it'll be a great opportunity for these students to be seen in the school so they can help get our visitors into the building to see these different events. Eventually, we would love to have peer mentors too, where maybe the fifth graders are paired up with second graders or second graders paired up with kindergartners to help increase their literacy, maybe reading buddies and things of that sort. So there's just so many more ideas that we can go with the ambassador program. Do you guys have any questions before I continue? Does this make sense? And yes. So we were thinking of having like bi-monthly week meetings in the building, of course, during school hours. And if we're still virtual, we'll, make that work as well. But I would really like to start this program for the 2021-2022 year. So we're right now in the planning stages of getting everything, together. But I think it'll be amazing to have ambassadors all grade levels, and hopefully when we add new ones each year, it's just a great experience, and that the kids know, well, that's a Timothy ambassador right there. They're showing pride, which I know we want throughout the building. Also with it, I am going to read this book called When Kids Lead. I went to a recently virtual PL, and this man talked about his book, and this has great ideas for that. So I think that'll be great for all the members on the committee to also read this book, so we have more ideas of building leadership skills and goal setting and team building skills. Now for this whole selection process, there will be an application, and at that time, parents, teachers, and even students can fill out the application and be nominated for it. And the committee will be the ones that are selecting the students, but we will erase all names from it, and it'll be non-biased. But we want students, even the biggest thing we talked about is we have a lot of students in Timothy that are very involved. We want any child who wants to be a part of it, not saying, oh, because you are a safety patrol or you are on TRTV. We want any student, we want them all to have the opportunity, because in order for us to build leaders, we have to give them opportunities to have leadership opportunities. So that's my quick spiel on the ambassador program that we would love to have next year. So please let me know if you have any questions or feedback. Thank you so much for giving me time. And I'll put a feedback form in the chat too. Thank you so much.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Sutherland.
I want to compliment you on that idea, because when kids get in leadership roles, they act differently and have confidence. And it's very important to start training children to accept that responsibility. So I like that idea very well. And I think peer mentors work extremely well in both directions. It's a win-win for both students. So I think it's a great project.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My next step is to also talk to more teachers and see if they wanted to help, be a part of the committee. So I'm excited.
Question. I just clicked on the link that you sent, and it said we need permission. Is it possible to?
I will. Thank you so much. I'm so used to just doing things in Clark County. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
No problem. I did have another question too. You said that there's an not an interview process, a why am I blanking?
Application.
Thank you. So there is the possibility, just because of, you said like 2 per grade, so there's a possibility that somebody wouldn't be able to be a leader, at the time that they initially apply, or how does that?
Is that still negotiable? Because we're in the planning process, so we can change things of that sort. I know I know when we were thinking about just like managing students, because
Mhm.
it was just a committee of 4 people. So I was just thinking, and the 2 of us were classroom teachers, just that. But I feel like if we have candidates that qualify, I feel like why not? So that's something to definitely think about. I know the younger students might be able to help more with like the tours and stuff, but maybe if we have kids speaking at events like this, you might have the older students do it too. So it might be, maybe having more in the older grades and less in the upper grades, but they can grow. And so that might be a good thing to think about.
Yeah, I was just curious about how like kids would respond at this age level to, being told, not this year, but maybe next year, like, not to say that you have to coddle them. I don't remember what it was like. So just curious.
Yeah, that is, or maybe it might be like one in each classroom, you never know. So that's different thing to think about.
It's a good idea to start small and then you can build on it if it works out.
That is true. Having a smaller group of children to work with is than having a large group. Well, thank you for the feedback.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing that information. And we will definitely, we have the link in the chat, and I've also put it into the minutes, so that'll be there. And that link will already be there for us. And so if you guys have any additional feedback, please make sure you provide it to Ms. Harris so that she can take it back to her team. And we are excited about the potential that this program has to benefit our kiddos, because it's never too early to teach them some leadership opportunities. And in the future, it would be great to even, I had spoken to Ms. Harris and Ms. Blankenship about even, you know, making these kids stand out by even ordering them a special shirt that they wear for certain days, or a special blazer. That's something that makes them stand out on those days, so that other kids will say, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that, the way they can actually dress up as ambassadors for the school. So hopefully this will go a lot further, and maybe you'll hear some more about that even in the future when we get ready to roll out LSGT Grant 21-22. All right. So thank you, Ms. Harris. You are welcome to stay if you'd like to. Of course, if you have other things to do, we do understand, but you're always welcome to join our meetings. So we're going to continue on in our agenda. And I think next up is me, principal updates. Let's talk about, well, actually, Ms. Harris, before you go, while I have you here, I am giving an update tonight on Black History Month. So Ms. Harris is also one of our co-chairs for Black History Month. So let me just kind of defer back a little bit to Ms. Harris before she goes, and give her an opportunity to share with you guys about how we're celebrating Black History Month at Timothy Elementary, because we're doing some really, really cool things. We had to be real creative while we're virtual, but it's working and our kids are getting a lot out of it. So Ms. Harris, if you'd like to tell them a little bit about what we're doing to celebrate Black history, that would be awesome.
Alrighty, well, it's me again. This year's theme was Through Our Eyes, and it's about African-American authors. And we selected this theme to go with the writing program. So it went hand in hand. So we're exposing them to literature. We're encouraging teachers to just, replace some books with some African-American books. And each grade level is being challenged to pick one book that they're highlighting and making a book review. So each grade level will select a few students to present their book review on the Doctor-worthy morning show, like I like to call that, where we have every morning with our morning announcements. We also have a weekly book poll where we are encouraging 2 books to be read at home, and we put the YouTube link for you guys can watch at home with families, and poll which is their favorite one. And then Dr. Worthy gets to share that each week. We also have amazing subcommittee that is making daily fun facts from the Black history and sharing with the kids. They've been doing a great job making a local angle or even appealing to the kids. So they have been loving these daily facts. So we're just excited. It's different, but we're having fun. So Reading books is a great thing. You can't go wrong with that. So I'm excited to be part of this committee. So thank you.
And if I could commend the Black History Committee for a one, because I have actually caught a couple announcements in the morning, and definitely I want to appreciate thank y'all for honoring my grandmother last week. That was touching. I really appreciate that. So that was wonderful. But it's great. I mean, I enjoy the Dr. Worthy morning show every morning.
Yes. Making a big thing, guys.
Yes. But
Now I
thanks.
feel like I'm missing out.
You are.
You're not
Gotta catch the
missing
announcements at 8:05. Gotta catch the announcements and the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's funny. That's what they've dubbed my announcements. I just call them the announcement, but they're all calling the Dr. Worthy Show. And I'm like, what? That's what y'all call it? I need some special guests or something else on this show. It can't just be the Dr. Worthy Show.
You gotta start like Ellen. You gotta come out dancing or something to start the morning or something, singing or
Get
something.
Miles to be your hype boy right there in the back.
I'll watch that. Yeah.
Y'all don't know my struggle with those announcements.
We love it though. Thank you for your struggle. We don't even notice it. You do it so effortlessly.
I need to do a reel of bloopers for y'all. That's what I need to find out.
The behind the scenes, because I know you have to do your makeup, your hair is done and stuff. I'm like, wow, 8:00. She's ready already.
Yeah, some days y'all just don't even know. Like today when I just said, I need lighting? Yes, let me light this up. But thank you. Yeah, the Black History Committee is doing such an amazing job. And I love the fun facts. I love the challenges. And with LSGT supporting the Leap for Literacy project, they have piggybacked on that project to expand on it, which has been even more amazing. So since the author that we are working with is promoting Black authors, then the kids are able to actually zoom in through our LSGT grant. They're able to zoom in with actual authors every single week. And this past week was the first author, and it was a kid. She was 10 years old. She wrote her story when she was 7, and she published, she actually did a Kickstarter campaign to save enough money to publish her book. And she was able to publish this book, and it's just been great for her. And so she talked about that process and how she went through it. And the kids loved it because they looked at another child, so it was really cool. So it made the writing project even more real for them because they were like, oh, wait, I really can do this. And so this week they'll meet another author. And we've had some Mr. Stephen Nobles, he works with Clark County as a pre-K registration coordinator and a data specialist, but he's also a literacy guy. Like he promotes literacy, and he's a storyteller. He loves story time. So he has a YouTube channel where he just reads books to kids, and it's really fun. And so he actually was a spotlight today on the announcements. He did a special book reading just for Timothy students, and it was really great. So every week they're doing something different. I love that the parents of the families are participating because they get to read the books to their kids, and they're YouTube links. So we're pushing out YouTube links, sit down as a family, do the link, and then vote. Each child gets to vote on which book they like. And so to share the results, gets the kids excited and hyped up. So it's just been really, really cool to be able to do something a little different because every year our Black History Committee, they do the most amazing, every year they just blow my mind. And just when I think they can't do something greater, they do. It's like, how did y'all come up with that? So they blow my mind every year. And this year they are doing such an amazing job because instead of putting on a production for everyone, they've been able to really include everybody. So everyone's a part of the Black History Moment this year. So that's really exciting. But thank you so much, Ms. Harris. I'm glad you were on because I was going to share that Black History update and what we were doing. So it's perfect that you were here. So the other part of my update is just reopening. So I'll just share with you very quickly about what that looks like. We are excited to have students return for reopening. Truly excited just because there is so much that's going on, and we just really want kids to be able to get back to school. We are looking at the data. I'm starting to look at it again more frequently. I used to follow it like daily. and then I stopped. So I'm starting to look at it again more frequently. And what I'm noticing, and what the CDC has recommended, is that transmission in schools is not, it's not happening as high as people would think. I can tell you for a fact at Timothy Elementary, the few cases that we did have were adults who had contracted, who had either contracted COVID due to their interaction with someone else outside of the building, or we've had a couple of students who've had to quarantine due to being around a parent that or another family member who had contracted COVID. But we haven't had any cases of student to student illnesses. Not to say that we won't, but transmission is really low. And again, I'm looking forward to our kiddos coming back just because they were so on top of it when we came back the first time and following the rules and doing everything they were supposed to do. And I just have no reasons to doubt that they won't do that again. They're just as nervous, because it's something unknown, and some of them have their own fears and theories that are they're not even conspiracy theories. They're just theories that kids come up with, that are rooted in like total nonsense. So because of that, though, they really have their own little fears, and they're not trying to do anything against the rules. So we're really excited to see that our students are, able to follow the rules, and we're excited to see them come back. Can't wait to have them back. And we are doing a phase-in plan. So I'm going to share with you, if you haven't seen already, what that looks like. I have a lot going on my screen, so I apologize. But here is what we have looked at, what I've shared with my staff, basically about reopening. And our nursing staff talked to us about the Clark County monitoring data, and how since January 13th, our data had been steadily declining, not rapidly declining, but steadily declining. They are working to be very proactive, which I'm really excited about, in putting together a staff vaccination effort. And what that looks like is them actually working with the Department of Public Health to come up with days and locations where they can actually provide the vaccination to staff as soon as the state says, okay, we're ready for the next phase. So as soon as they open up that next phase to people under 65, then they have a plan in place. And so I'm really excited they were being proactive, and we don't have to just wait around and see what happens or scramble to get it done on our own. But the district is making that plan. And they're also looking ahead to the future to see if there's a way for them to even provide COVID testing for students and staff, potentially through a partnership with UGA. But again, that's something that's a little bit further down the line, but it's something they're looking at, just being proactive right now. So we really appreciate that. Of course, a full reopening, without all the extra measures that we have in place, would depend on staff vaccination, but then also decreasing the positivity rate. And so this is what they're looking for, is that rate to be below 5% or less than 200 per 100,000. And so that's what they're looking for a full, total reopening without all the extra pieces in place. However, we are going in the right direction, and we're hoping that we can stay in that right direction. So this is basically what that reopening is going to look like. We have our special education adaptive students are coming in first. They'll be coming in beginning on this Monday, and they're going to be coming 2 days a week in different buildings. That's Monday, Tuesdays, and in some buildings that's Thursday, Friday. And Wednesday is going to be a remote learning day no matter what. What that means is every Wednesday is going to be a day where there will be deep cleaning happening, as well as that allows us an opportunity for contact tracing should we need it, without having to do more pauses or school shutdowns. That's the hope. If you'll notice, they have put in or built in 2 weeks in between each group that they're phasing in, to allow time for transition, just to make sure everything's going well, to make sure that that group is, groups are settled before you bring the next group in. So I am very pleased as a principal with this plan of phasing students in this manner, and with the 2 weeks in between. When my kindergarten my pre-K through second grade students come back, they'll come back beginning March 1st. And so for our building, what that looks like is our entire bottom floor will actually have students, and our top floor pretty much won't because that's our third, fourth, and fifth graders. So that really works out even better for us. So we have all of our bottom floor kids will be in the building. They'll be on a 4-day-a-week schedule. So that'll be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday will be a remote day. On those remote days, those are not asynchronous days. So it's not a day for just go work on your own, but those are hybrid learning days. So it'll be a mix of what the kids are doing right now. So they'll get some live instruction and some asynchronous work on those days. So they'll still bring their devices home and be expected to log in and do work. And we'll have a schedule that they'll follow for those remote days. By March 15th, our third, fourth, and fifth graders will be in, and they'll come in also joining the 4-day per week with Wednesday being remote. And then by March 22nd, that's when our middle schoolers and they are doing a phase in at the high school that begins March 15th, but I'm not high school, so that doesn't really affect me. And so I really can't answer any questions if you have any about that. They are working on an alternative schedule for high school, but they are, and they're doing that because we still have a very limited number of bus drivers and things of that nature to help transport kids. So to really be able to meet the needs of our students, we are going to continue our regular schedule, and we'll continue to meet the 4 days a week. So that's our phase-in plan. So by the week of March 15th, in elementary, we'll be back in full swing with everyone in the building 4 days a week. And then our staff members, they're all coming to work. They're all coming to work a week prior to the kids coming to work. And so a lot of these specialized programs, when you think about who are they and what does that really include, it includes all of these different programs that we have across the district. And it does affect 16 different sites across the district when we start phasing in our special education population. So that includes 11 elementary sites, also the Office of Early Learning, which is where some of our pre-K and 3-year-olds are, and three middle school sites and both high school sites will be affected as well. So those are all the different programs that it will actually affect. And also parents have a reopening. We're having a reopening registration again. And so we're going to ask parents to choose one last time of whether or not they want their kids to change their instructional models. So this is the last time they get to choose. And we've asked them in January. We asked them in December for third quarter. We confirmed in January, but with the reopening, we're asking again just to be sure and to verify and to allow people to make a change. However, this is the final choice, and whatever choice this is, it is till the end of the school year. So if you choose virtual, you're virtual until May. If you choose face-to-face, you're face-to-face until May. And then, of course, these are the things they want to be able to do in order to increase mitigation. They really want to provide the vaccine to all staff members that want the vaccine. Keep our numbers very small in the buildings, that's staff and kids. Make sure those designated days on Wednesdays are used for cleaning, which we think is going to be very important. That's something we did not have when we first came back, was that one day. Our custodians were just working doubly in the afternoons, in the evenings, and we just kind of had to get out of there as soon as possible. And then providing additional PPE, so they've purchased additional face shields for staff if they would want a face shield. That's something that the district has purchased as well. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell in terms of the plan and what's happening around the district. My PowerPoint got stuck and I can't see you guys, so hold on a second. So that's pretty much what's happening with reopening, but our phase-in plan, like I mentioned, is mainly us bringing kids back beginning next week and all the way up through the week of March 22nd when we all get back. So we're really excited about that. I'm excited as a principal, and I'm really excited as a parent.
Question.
Yes.
If you choose the in-person option and your child gets there and doesn't like the in-person option, are they allowed to go to the virtual, or are they stuck?
Well, what do you mean by doesn't like?
Or say, for instance, I mean, they get sick and need to go home. Are parents able to swap out to go back to virtual, or do they
Yeah.
have to stick with the
So what
decision?
we want to do is we try to hold tight to the decisions that people choose, and and it's for double reasons. We are trying to make sure our numbers in person stay as small as possible, and we're also trying to make sure our virtual classes are as manageable as possible. And so, in the event, like right now, we're sitting in a really good place because in the event that a kid needs to quarantine, right? They've been around somebody that's positive. Right now, we can pop them into a virtual class temporarily for that number of days and bring them right back. They don't interfere with the numbers. But if we began popping in lots of children and leaving them there, then our numbers start to get high. And so then it becomes hard to manage for our teachers. Once I start shifting teachers around, which we have to do, once we start moving the teachers, then we start if our numbers start to get to where more people are moving out of the building, then that means I have to shut down classrooms in person to provide extra teachers for virtual. So it's bigger than just one person making a change because it's really affecting everybody. So I really try to hold people to their decisions and hold them tight to them. Of course, there are always extenuating circumstances or things that happen that are beyond people's control, and so we will deal with things definitely on a case by case basis. But we have to. We're gonna ask people to make a decision and stick to it. Is going to be what we ask them to do.
Thanks.
All right.
I heard that Dr. Thomas will be on NPR talking about this. So if you have any questions, listens to NPR and she'll be talking.
Yay! I'm at and on Friday I'm hosting a principal's coffee for my parents, and so of course you guys are always welcome to join those. And I'll send you the link to them. We post them on the calendar as well. But you're always welcome to join. I try to be as informative and transparent as possible with parents and let them know here's where we are, here's where we're going, this is what I need from you. So that'll be the plan for Friday, is just to let people know this is what we're going to need, in order for our kids to come back safely. It's going to be really important that everyone just kind of, holds fast to their decisions. That's the hardest part because it's crazy. We've had a few people that want to flip flop. Okay, they want to be virtual. No, they want to go back. And we're like, no, you can't. You can't just go back and forth, because you have this option. And we have to also think about the fact that next year is coming, and we have to be prepared for that. Right now, I'm waiting to do in a couple of weeks, I have a staffing meeting. And so, staffing allotment meeting where I'll meet with HR about how many teachers I'll actually have. I'm really nervous about it because as I told you guys before, we've lost a lot of kids. And, to lose that many children means you lose staff too. And I don't want to lose my staff members. And so I'm hoping that, things can be, I don't know if there are things that are going to be waived or what's really out there right now, but I'm hoping that, we'll be able to hold on to our staff because people are coming back. They're not gone to stay gone. They're coming back, and then we'll have a bigger, another different type of pandemic that we'll be in because we'll have this other problem of overcrowded classrooms. So we really have to think through those things on the opposite end too.
Is HR taking that into consideration?
It's, they are for sure, but it's really going to boil down to what the federal guidelines are going to say. That's where the money comes from. But yes, HR is taking that into consideration.
So the head of human resources job has been filled, or is that still?
It has. It's been filled by Selena Blankenship, and she actually worked in the district before. She was a principal here and worked in the district for many years. She went to Jackson County and worked in their human resources department, and now she's back as our HR director. So she's excited to be back. She knows her stuff, and we're comfortable with her.
That's good news.
Is it? You didn't
Well,
even know
it's better
that
than
we
someone
had
who
a
has
new
no
director,
idea what's
did you?
going on in the county.
You didn't know we had a new director, did you?
I hadn't looked lately, no.
Was it publicized, huh?
Was it not?
I don't know.
No.
Oh.
No.
So,
Well, that's who it is. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. So those are my updates. In the meantime, things are going really, really well. So those are my updates. You got any updates, Mr. Jordan?
At this time, I don't. Thank you.
All right. Did you all get a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? All right.
For some reason, my computer is not translating those things. I
Uh-oh.
don't know what format you're putting them out in, but it's not opening them.
Okay. I think what I'll start doing then is I'll go back and try to upload a maybe a PDF so that you can see it in a
PDF would work for me, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
This is
you.
coming through Google. But yeah, that's what I'll do.
Is anybody else having trouble reading them, or haven't you tried? I don't know.
No. Okay. It's all right. Yeah,
Not since I had to get a new email account, a Google account.
Thank goodness for that, because that Yahoo account is outdated.
Blah, 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 blah.
So, would you like for me to go over the minutes from the last meeting, Ms. Sunland?
No, because I was here, so it's
Okay.
fine.
All right. May I have a motion to approve those minutes from the last meeting? All right. We have a motion by Pastor Michaela and seconded by Ms. Cecilia Lozada. Great. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. All right. And the motion's carried. It's unanimous. I don't think I even did that the first time the motion was carried, but it was carried. Okay. Grant update. We're approved. Woohoo! I had to write the grant in 2 parts, but we're approved for both parts. They thought they had approved us. I thought something was wrong and they were waiting to send us something to edit. And so the lady contacted me and said, I was going to send you an approval, but I was looking for my first approval and I didn't see it. Did you get it? And I'm like, no. And she said, I guess I didn't send it. And I was like, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay. It's all right. I thought I had done something wrong. I was letting y'all tell me what to fix. So she was like, no, it's fine. So grants are approved. I told them that's fine. We were already up in motion anyway. So we were already working, whether it was approved or not. The Leap for Literacy project is underway. And I will share with you the video clip that from the Zoom with the author from last week. It was so amazing. I shared it with the parents too. Each week, the kids are getting a YouTube video from our author in residence, I'll call him Mr. Tucker, and they're getting on writing tips, right? Things that they're thinking of. So this week is all about brainstorming. And then they're getting the Zoom with the author at 1 o'clock on Thursdays. So it's so, so cool. But I'll send you guys the link as well in case you want to Zoom with the author on Thursday and see how that's turning out. But I think it's so awesome and just so much fun. The kids are really starting to get up and get excited. So I was meeting with my 4th grade team today, and they were saying that the kids really are excited about their writing. And one little boy said, I've worked on mine all weekend. So that's good to hear, right? That we're really promoting the writing. So I'm really excited about that. So grants are approved. We are in the process of interviewing for our coordinator position for the tutoring program. And so those interviews will happen tomorrow. My assistant principal and my instructional coach are handling those interviews and of teachers in-house, of course. And then the coordinator is going to handle the interviews of any teachers if we have to. We're hoping we don't have to, but if we have to drill it down, then we will. Typically, it's like, if you want to come, then come on, because we usually have enough slots to fill. But if not, if we get too many people, then we'll, back it up. Once they start getting wind of extra pay and how much it is, it's like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So we may get a nice little rush of people, but we'll see. Then the other thing that I wanted to share with you was our 90-day plan and where we're going with that. I stuck a link in there. I know that I sent you an email with some of our SILT members on it about the surveys they're going to be working on. So expect them to reach out to you soon about those surveys, because they are really interested in just talking to you a little bit about what it is they're planning to do with the surveys. So we're really excited about the work that they're looking at, but it's really surrounding parents, staff, and students. So we really want to think about surveying them to find out if what we're doing is actually working. Is there something more we could be doing, or is it enough? What else can we do to really support our kids? So I'm going to share with you, if I can find my little button here. There we go. Our 90-day plan, and you have access to this plan. I put a link in the agenda, but you also have access to this plan to go back to. And I just kind of want to go through again how to read it, because it can be kind of daunting when you look at it. And it's like, what is all this stuff? What do these words mean? But I would like your feedback on the plan. Basically, and I don't have to have it tonight because it takes a while for you to go through it. But basically, the way the plan is set up is we have, when you go to the bottom of the screen, you have these tabs, and we are in the winter tab. So we're at winter priority numbers 1 and priority 2 and 3. And so there are 3 priorities we're focused on. The first one is instructional leadership. And the priority that we're focusing on are our lesson plans, and not necessarily how to write lesson plans, but how to make them, how to make teachers internalize those lesson plans, really prep more for those plans, and know more about who they're serving within those plans. We want them to be able to internalize their math plan specifically and be able to adjust them so that they're able to meet learning or write learning objectives that meet specific needs of students. And so that's our desired outcome. This whole big rock is all about professional learning for the teachers. So we're going to be working with them on writing precise learning objectives in math for small group instruction and maximize the use of their independent practice time. We're going to provide professional learning on internalizing key parts of the lessons, mostly the I do part, because we're seeing a lot of teacher talk, and we want to turn that into kid talk. And let the kids have more ownership of the conversations in instruction. And then also building timestamps into lessons, because some of them are saying they're not getting to certain parts of the math, but it's because they're overdoing other pieces. So we want to train them on how to timestamp pieces and get to hard stops in their lessons. So that's pretty much the entire instructional leadership piece. It's about internalizing those math lesson plans and writing to meet the needs of specific instructional needs of students. And so that's what we're working on. That second priority, since the first one's all about the actual professional learning, the second priority is about the implementation. So the goal here is to have them, again, look at those lesson plans, and as they're writing those lesson plans for math, making sure they're aligned to student needs based on their analysis of the data cycle and rigor with these core components of effective instruction. So what we found is our teachers are using what we call exit ticket data. And what that is at the end of a math lesson, they give students like 3 to 5 questions that kind of reviews what they taught that day. And they're able to go back, and they have a data protocol sheet that they can go back and identify who got it, who didn't get it, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are your next steps. It's the next steps piece that we're missing the boat on. So we have teachers that are saying, I have a plan of action, but where we're missing the boat is, how are you implementing that plan? So we want to incorporate more small group instruction for our students so they can go back and implement that plan of action, because that's how you get to aligning lessons to specific student needs. So the way we're going to do that is just redesign our data protocol so that we can create and adapt our instructional plans on data analysis and teach them how to scaffold those for those needs. We're going to help them provide longer independent practice, which goes back to time stamping in the first tier. And my admin team and my instructional coach will go through and conduct some focus walks to give teachers some feedback on those things. And then the last priority number 3, is school climate. So our PBIS team met and came up with some fabulous things they'd like to focus on to engage families. So really and truly, we're going to look at just creating these different platforms and spaces to celebrate students and staff, to provide successful parent informationals, and to provide professional learning opportunities as it relates to PBIS, so we can continue to build a positive school culture. So we're going to have a second semester Timothy University, but through that parent survey, we want to identify some parent needs and make sure we include those in the sessions. We want to plan and implement some virtual family nights in conjunction with PTO. And the first of which is going to be with art and music, because it's March is Art and Music Month. And so they're going to be working with our PBIS team to come up with some activities and ways to showcase kids' work virtually, but to celebrate with our parents. We're implementing a dojo reward system like we have for the kids for the faculty, so they can see how it feels to get those wonderful points and redeem them for something fun. And again, a plan for a professional learning to show how to best use our behavior flow charts and ways to spend dojo points, and make sure we have a plan in place for new teachers so they know how PBIS works at Timothy. So these are just the basic pieces. I went through that kind of fast, I know, but these are just the basic pieces of what that looks like. I just wanted to give you like a quick look so that you'd have an idea, and so that you would be able to kind of see, you know, where we're going next. So does anybody have any questions for me? Once again, I can't see you. My computer is just doing some weird stuff.
Miss Carol, if you're asking a question, you're muted.
Yeah, okay. My name's Carol, by the way, even though it has a Y in it. I thought it was good that you hit the teacher focus, the pupil focus, and the parent focus. So, and I like the idea of the more individualized instruction to meet the needs of each child, not trying to teach to the middle and losing the bottom and the top. So
Thank you. Any other feedback?
Just a question. How are the teachers, I guess, responding so far?
Yeah, that's a good question. So today we went back through this with our leadership team. We gave it to the teachers and asked for their feedback to bring through their leadership team members. Today we met with the leadership team and talked to them just to kind of see where we were. There were some things that we did change today as a result. Like, for example, one of the priorities was written about, or the root cause was written to say that teachers felt overwhelmed by all the lesson planning. And so they didn't really agree with the wording, but they did feel like it was more so they didn't have the time to get certain things done. So we changed the language of that. Our next step now is to take that, since we've changed that language, back to the group again and to see if we can get some additional feedback. I think the teachers want to know, how do I meet this expectation? And so what we're telling them is that's why it's in the plan, so we can show you how. So part of it is, here's the professional learning. We're not just going to, say, watch this video, but we're going to actually come and say, here, this is how you do it. Let's practice it. Now let's go in and actually do it. And we're going to come and watch it to see, so we can give you some feedback on, how you're doing with it. So yeah, we do get feedback from our teachers. I think my leadership team was a little surprised. And I had to keep reminding them, you're the leaders of the school. So things are surprising to you because it would appear that people are doing what you do, So they were surprised that exit ticket data wasn't being consistently reviewed. They were surprised that instruction the action plans weren't matching the individual needs of students. They were like, but that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, but you're the leaders of the school. Yes, you see that. But the minority is doing the work. The majority is not. So the goal is student achievement. How do we get the majority to do this work and to see it through the same lens that you actually see it? So today's meeting was really insightful, because they were just like, I just don't understand. One teacher said, I can't explain a root cause for why you wouldn't do that, because you just do it. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. You're right. You can't explain that, but somebody else is trying to explain that to me. And so I had to like really share some ugly truths with them today and say, everything is not all, rosy just because it looks that way when you're having a collaborative planning meeting. Yes, your team leaders, your team members say, yeah, we're doing this. Yeah, I analyze my exit tickets. But the truth of the matter is some of your teammates are copying their plan of action from 1 week to the next to the next. That can't be the same plan of action. One of your teammates has actually taken the same plan of action and copied out for the next 3 weeks before they've given the exit ticket. How can that be it? And somebody boldly even copied their colleague's exit ticket and just made a copy and never even changed the data. So no, that's not acceptable. So how do we get it? And they were just like, oh, I'm like, so this is why it's in the plan. So at that point, it made a whole lot of sense, to them. But it's hard to explain to leaders in the group when they know what you're supposed to do. And they were like, but that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is what you're supposed to do. But everybody's not doing that.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to leave. I appreciate being part of the meeting, though.
Oh, it's fine. Go ahead. We're about to wrap it up. You're fine. Did anybody else have any questions about anything? All righty. That took a little bit longer than I had anticipated anyhow, so I apologize for that. So basically, that's our plan. You have a link to it. You have access to it. So feel free to go back, review it, see if there's anything else that you don't have any questions about. Let me know, and look to hear from the other team members about those surveys. All right. Any other questions for the good of the group? Wonderful. All right. Then we can adjourn this meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? So moved by Ms. Lozada and seconded by Pastor Michaela and third by Mr. Crook. Got it. Okay. Y'all have a great evening.
The third one doesn't count.
Sure it does.
Watch out now. Don't do that.